All right, here he is, Gregg Popovich, Coach Pop, the Don of San Antonio. I'm sure y'all have already heard about this. Most likely, Coach Popovich suffered his stroke back in November. He's healing up now, but he had a meeting with the team probably 1.5 weeks ago now, and it's been announced that he's not coming back for the rest of the season. So a lot of people are speculating that Coach Popovich is probably going to retire, and us here in San Antonio are looking for our next coach for this next upcoming season. As a Spurs fan here in San Antonio, the video is not about the stroke so much for Popovich. I'll get into it in a second, more the subject of the video. But Coach Pop suffered a stroke. Again, he's not coming back for this season. And honestly, as a Spurs fan and someone here in San Antonio, I feel like it's probably best for Popovich to just retire and get his health back in order. He would say it himself. If one of our players had a stroke and they were even 35 years old, or way younger than Pop is, he'd probably tell them, life is more important than basketball, and that's always true. So, myself personally, I feel like Pop should probably just hang it up and get his health together. As much as we love Popovich, I think of Popovich as like a mafia member almost. He's like a Godfather type of figure here in San Antonio. I've never seen him here in person in the city, of course, but if I did see Pop and have a conversation, I'd feel like I'm talking to like a Godfather type of mafia member, but one of the good mafia members that helps the city and does awesome things around the city. But that's kind of how people in San Antonio look at Coach Popovich. But I've been seeing some videos and articles around talking about kind of how the rest of the league and different fan bases view Coach Popovich. And let me know what you think below. If you are a Spurs fan, I probably know how you feel about Pop, but especially non-Spurs fans watching, please let me know below kind of how you feel about Popovich, because a lot of things I've been hearing, not exactly that he's hated, but he's really, really polarizing. A lot of people don't like him bringing his political views into the NBA and things like this. A lot of people feel like, you should keep your politics over here and then keep basketball over here. So we'll kind of get into that. Um, Again, please let me know, just first impressions, what you think about Popovich. I guess I'd semi agree you should keep politics away from work, but we'll get more into it here and kind of see what y'all think. But this is just from back in October of last year, so this is pretty recent. It's about Popovich kind of going on a tirade about Donald Trump. I'll get into it a little bit here. Um, First thing I'll say, this video is not about what side of politics you agree with, if you're on this side or this side. It's more just about if you think they should keep politics completely out of sports, not so much about which side of the which side of the politics that you're on. But right here, Coach Pop is widely considered one of the greatest minds in the NBA in matters relating to basketball and global affairs. He's never shied away from dealing with important and often difficult topics, but has always conducted himself with grace. Some people would probably disagree with that. Before I even continue the article, I will say this: whenever Kawhi came back to San Antonio after he had gone to Toronto, all the crowd was just booing the crap out of Kawhi. When he came back to San Antonio, everyone's booing him. I wasn't at the game. I wouldn't have been booing him myself. I'm a San Antonio fan, but he helped us win a championship in 2014. He's a Finals MVP. He's a San Antonio Spurs legend as far as I'm concerned. So personally, I wouldn't be booing him myself. But with that being said, I feel like everyone has the right to boo Kawhi. But Popovich got on the mic and said, hey guys, stop booing. That's not how we do things here in San Antonio. And I agree with him. I mean, at least myself personally, I wouldn't be booing with him. I agree with Popovich on that because I think he's probably just saying, Kawhi won us a championship just 2 or 3 years ago. Like, why are you guys booing this dude? He's done so much for the city. But with that being said, I do disagree with Popovich grabbing the mic and telling all the San Antonio fans that they shouldn't be booing Kawhi. It should be their choice how to feel. Whether or not Coach Pop agrees with that. But yeah, after we beat the Houston Rockets back in October when this article had come out, let's see, he was asked some questions about Trump. It says he did not mince words. This is before the inauguration. Called the former president, he was former president at the time, whiner, damaged man, a racist, pathetic. Again, I'm not taking a side on how I do or don't feel about the president. This is more just about politics and if they should or should not be in sports. I'm not gonna get into the. I'm not gonna play the video, but yeah, this is kind of the part I wanted to get into. It said, I took the time to read all the comments posted about Popovich's debrief. Several fans supported Popovich's analysis. The usual suspects encouraged the coach to keep politics out of sports. Um, I feel like a lot of Popovich views are usually progressive views, and the NBA is usually a pretty progressive league and trying to go in the progressive direction. As far as I'm concerned, they try to kind of toe the line more these days. And again, it's not an argument about which side of politics you're on, but I feel like Pop's beliefs are usually progressive, and that's usually the direction the NBA goes with. But at the same time, they don't want to turn off people that necessarily don't agree with Popovich's views, and that's where it comes in with keep the politics out of not even the NBA, just keep your politics out of business, because that's more what it is. Because you might turn off people, with Popovich's politics, and they don't want to consume the NBA product, or things like that. But right here, notably, no one could succinctly answer his question, and the core of the counter argument against Popovich was effectively shut up and dribble. So I kind of agree with that point. I mean, it's like when LeBron would come out and he's talking about political things. Again, I'm not going to say if I agree or disagree with LeBron's views. Um, yeah, the shut up and dribble argument, like when the George Floyd stuff happened. I'll just say I do agree with LeBron on this one. That was horrible what happened. But LeBron's talking about this and talking about how horrible that was that happened, and then I know people are literally saying this, but LeBron's basically making the point. Y'all are saying, shut up and dribble. You shouldn't be talking about politics. LeBron's not a politician. Coach Popovich isn't a politician. So I mean, I guess I kind of see what people are saying on that side, but at the same time, they are members of the United States. They live here in the country. They see what's happening in the country, and they can have an opinion on it. And right here, the "shut up and dribble" quote. I didn't like that. I'll just say what it is. I didn't like that. Like, the players should be able to have opinions. They can say whatever they want. They have a big stage to get their opinion out, so they can say whatever they want. And then if someone wants to come back and have backlash towards what they're saying, they can do that as well. So I feel like that's fine. The shut up and dribble argument. I feel like you can plug that right in with Popovich or any of the coaches and say, I'll just shut up and coach. Keep your politics out of the game. So yeah, let me know what you think, if the politics should just stay out of the game completely. I kind of see the points from both sides. From a business aspect, you don't really want that in the game just to get your top dollar up. But then from the other side, the NBA is a very progressive league, so LeBron's views, Popovich's views are usually very progressive. So I feel like they usually match what the NBA is going for. But in the NBA, the bottom dollar, or the bottom line, is the dollars they make. So that's gonna always outweigh everything. That's why they don't really want they don't want any player to have a personality and say what they're actually thinking, because it might turn off some fans or viewers. Honestly, I feel like that's really what it is. But here we go. Massive salaries, celebrity status of the coaches and the sports. Okay, yeah, so that's a point they're making. Despite their massive salaries, celebrity status, and constant attention they receive, asking athletes and coaches to keep politics out of sports is absurd. Again, let me know what you think about that point. When people, like what they're saying, when people see your face all the time and you're talking in interviews and doing all this stuff all the time, people are going to kind of get a feel for what your political views are, just from kind of hearing your personality and hearing you speak on things. Because they're going to ask you trap questions and stuff in the interviews. They're going to try to drag you into politics just so they can get some quote out of you or whatever it is. It's like they're saying it's kind of tough to keep them separated. All right. For starters, politics and policies affect them in the same way that they do other people. When Trump and J.D. Vance stand on their pulpits and claim they would outlaw abortion, the Spurs family and female coaches and staffers are directly affected by such policies. I mean, that would be true. Like I said, again, they're citizens of the United States, so just like we're affected, they'll be affected by the policies. Republican Party incites panic around the LGBTQ community. Hate spreads, and the Spurs and their loved ones are affected. When Greg Abbott and Ted Cruz refuse to support meaningful gun control, mass shootings like the one at Robb Elementary and the Walmart in El Paso are enabled. Again, let me know what you think about having the politics in sports, or if they shouldn't be in sports. I'm not trying to turn this into a whole gun control conversation or whatever it is regarding politics. Um, but like they were saying, you're on a big platform. Your face is out there. Like I was saying before, it's almost like saying shut up and dribble, shut up and coach. You can voice your opinions again, like I said, and then you know when the fans and people come back and they criticize your opinions, if they don't agree with it, you just got to kind of take it on the chin and just kind of stand on what you believe in. I mean, not everyone's gonna like you, not everyone's gonna agree with what you're saying. Okay, this is another part I wanted to get to. I thought this was a really good point right here they made. For those of you still unconvinced that Popovich either doesn't have the right to spread his opinions or don't think he's well informed enough to offer his stance, I ask you this: who is? Not only has he been a resident of San Antonio for the last 29 years, but he is a former member of the armed forces who served in the country in the Air Force. Being in the military is not an end all be all when it comes to being an informed citizen, but chances are he is more educated and has spent more time serving the nation than people telling him to stick to sports. I can't prove that he has or has not. Maybe there's someone with more. I'm sure there's someone with more military experience than him, and I'm sure there's someone more informed than he is to speak about these kinds of things. But yeah, like they're saying, he was in the Air Force. He's a member of the armed forces. I mean, living in San Antonio the last 29 years, I guess that makes him more qualified to speak on things here in San Antonio. I think the point they're making is more that we're a military city here in San Antonio, so you hear a lot about the military and things like this. But yeah, I mean, serving the military, serving in the armed forces, I feel like that does make him a bit more qualified to speak on politics and speak on things like this. But again, like they said, it's not an end all be all. It doesn't make him, what I mean, more qualified than everyone. But in my opinion, it is a little bit more from him to stand on, because if you're going to speak on military and military matters, and you actually were in the military before, it kind of makes people listen to you more. Just like if you used to play basketball, then you make your basketball podcast, whatever it is, your opinion's kind of going to have more weight for people than someone who didn't play professionally in the NBA. But let me know what you think, though. I thought that part was pretty good, because a lot of people do say, Coach Bob shouldn't be speaking on this and that. He's just an NBA coach. Keep the politics out of the NBA. Again, let me know what you think about if you should or shouldn't keep him out of the NBA. Because, like I said, the NBA is all about making money. That's all they really care about at the end of the day. So they're always going to want to keep the politics out of the game for the most part. But then again, the NBA does take stances on things. Like I said, again, let me know if you agree, but they're more of a progressive league, probably the most progressive league out of all the leagues, NBA, NFL, MLB, things like that. The NBA seems to be the most progressive league in their stances. And then Popovich makes a lot of points that are progressive. Same with LeBron, when the George Floyd stuff happened and things like that. So, it's a slippery slope. I know the NBA just wants to completely keep politics out of the game, just for their bottom dollar. But then, like I said, a lot of Popovich's points, LeBron's points, people like that, they're usually progressive viewpoints. But again, they don't want to offend people on the other side and then lose those audience members, from watching the product. But again, I'm not trying to turn it into a this side or that side conversation as far as politics go. But please comment below and let me know if you think they should keep politics completely out of the NBA, or if you think there is a place for them here. Another thing I was saying, I think I said earlier, I heard a guy talking about Pop, and he said, a good riddance, like Pop is finally out of the NBA. Like, thank God we don't have to hear him talking about politics all the time and this and that. Please let me know what you think about that too. If you're if you're not a Spurs fan or you don't live in San Antonio, I'd be interested to hear what you think about Coach Pop, and if you think his political views are just not whether you agree with them or not, but if you think they don't have a place in the NBA and he should keep that keep that outside of the game, basically. Yeah, thank you for watching. I'm at a big 31 subscribers. I'm trying to get to 50 by the end of the day, and YouTube said they're gonna send me a new car. So please like and subscribe as well.